Welcome everybody to Den Excelsior episode 157.
Yes, it is.
Finally, a normal ass week in show terms where we just talk about one thing for a change.
Yeah, we've pared down quite a bit.
Mhm.
It's
I'm your host.
last week was a little insane. It was too much.
It got crazy.
It was too
I'm your
much.
host
Yeah.
Ricky. With me is Dennis. This week is also insane, but for other reasons in our country. We want to talk about that.
Or we could just do that for an hour. We could just say that. It's we'll just put it here. We'll just say we all have to find a way to reconcile with the outcome and find a way to move forward because we've done it before and we'll do it again, so
Yeah,
there you go.
With
Cool.
that said, what have you been doing this week to escape?
Just drinking. No. Honestly, like I did see some cool helpful tips that, like for anybody not happy with how things turned out this week. They're saying, mental health is the most important thing. Take time, find something to escape into and everything. And so I really wanted to keep the horror binge going that I've been doing, but my wife was just she wasn't any more willing to accept horror. So we changed gears, and I kind of like squeezed in a show that I've kind of wanted to watch just because I love Sunny in Philadelphia so much, or It's Sunny in Philadelphia. We watched Caitlin Olsen's new show, High Potential. I've watched all the episodes.
Is the Mick canceled?
The Mick was canceled many years ago.
Okay.
The Mick was an excellent show too. That show was super funny.
I remember seeing that trailer, like a commercial during the Super Bowl. I'm like, oh, they do other things.
They do. Well, the guy who plays.
Well, yes. Dennis, I mean, this was the Mick.
AP Bio.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they get around. I mean, they found a way. I mean, at this point, they're going to be filming season 17 of It's Sunny in Philadelphia. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This coming in the coming months. They know how to work in other stuff besides that now, right? Max got Welcome to Wrexham. Charlie Day does movies. They all got their own little thing that they do. Danny DeVito showed up in Beetlejuice. They get around. But I wasn't sure about High Potential because it's on ABC, and like I was a little weirded out by the idea of somebody from Sunny being on.
She's like a bootleg ABC detective, right?
Not bootleg. She's kind of like House or MacGyver, in that she's a high potential intellect person, meaning like she's got photographic memory. She remembers anything she hears or sees or experiences in her life, and because she's very ADHD. That includes a lot of random garbage and stuff, like
I was gonna ask, like, is this like the what's the other show, The Good Doctor?
I never watched The Good Doctor.
But it's like an autism lean.
Not an autism lean, more an ADHD lean, like where it's not to say that those don't overlap a lot, but it's more about like she's a single mom with 3 kids and a lot on her plate. Never really quite figured out what to do with her life, so she's a janitor. She's a cleaning person. So the beginning of the movie the show is kind of like Good Will Hunting, where
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it? Well, fine. The janitor sees something wrong.
Never seen Ben Affleck's best work.
It's not Ben Affleck's best work. It's one of Matt Damon's best things. But
I thought he directed.
No, neither of them directed that. No.
Oh.
No. Gus Van Sant directed. He's in.
What time did he direct then? At that age?
Argo. No, not at that age. He wasn't directing at that age. He was directing way later.
Oh.
Yeah. They wrote it.
Okay, that's what it was. That's what it was. Okay. Yeah.
But anyways, if you've never seen it, it doesn't matter. basically, like, she's a cleaning person. She's working at the LAPD, cleaning after they go home at night. You know, the main detectives area, whatever, detectives unit, and she knocks over some evidence while she's cleaning. She looks at all of it for a second. She can't help it, and then she sees things that they missed, and then she goes and writes on the board. She changes the the investigation board, and the next day they come to work and they're like, "Who messed with our board?" And they're freaking out. They check their security cameras, find out it's the cleaning person. Go to her house. They're gonna arrest her and all these things, and then just for shits and giggles, like, the police chief lets her look at the files for a second and just be like, what else did we miss? And she can just see things, and it's really weird. Like, the fun part about it is you kind of learn new fun facts as you're watching the show, that they're just random things she picked up from, like, listening to podcasts or
Mhm.
helping her kids with stuff she learned from school, or they learned from school. And you learn weird fun facts that are kind of, I mean, they're fun. They're fun. Like, I learned that all churches face east. I didn't know that.
I don't think that's a true thing.
That's exactly what the detective said, and they Googled it, and it turns out it is a true thing.
I don't believe that.
Well, there you go. That's fine. You're
God,
welcome to
I have
Google
to
it.
Google this.
But I have to tell you, is it a fun fact if it's true? He doesn't even
The
want
number one search. Not
doesn't
all churches face east, but many do. That's
But
it.
many.
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Which ones don't?
It's like a pref. If you can build east, you build it east. But if obviously,
So it's a design. It's a design
yeah,
suggestion. Is what
you
it
want
is.
to face the rising sun during congregation.
Yes.
But that's not it's not an absolute truth.
The Eastern orientation carries several different meanings. Most basically, the East represents. Yeah. Well, that's AI that says most, but sure. Why are churches built facing east? So that is the, yeah, there is a specific reason that they do that.
We ain't got electricity, bro.
What, we ain't got electricity? Yeah. I guess technically, yeah, but that's
Well, cool.
the intent. Yeah, but that's my point. Is you learn weird
On
things
CBS,
from.
isn't it?
No, I just said it's on ABC, which was kind of jarring to me because I wasn't sure about how that would work, but it's pretty
Hey
cool.
man, it's
It's
also
fun.
in the House of Mouse.
It is. So, but there you go. I watched that. It is not the normal thing I watch. It's a procedural crime drama with Caitlin Olsen from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's quite charming. It's got a lot of heart, and you learn weird stuff. While you watch it. What about you?
We didn't talk about last week. I finished Only Murders in the Building.
Mm-hmm. I did do that too.
I feel it was fun, but
I don't think that was the final season.
No, it's not.
I thought you told me it was the final season.
No, I'm pretty sure next season's the final season.
Oh my god, the show never ends.
I mean, I guess kudos to Selena Gomez for staying with the show. Lord knows she does not need to work anymore. So
you say that about Selena Gomez and not the other two. But
when you get a B to your name, you don't gotta work anymore.
By the way, do you
absolutely
know the weird byproduct of this show?
No.
Martin Short and Meryl Streep are now dating.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
That's adorable. That's super cool. Yeah. I just think that's an awesome thing to come out of that. Like, I've even read stuff from the creators of the show where, like, never in a million years did they imagine when they were making the show that they would end up setting up Martin Short and Meryl Streep as a couple, but that's a thing now, and it's a really beautiful thing to see. So
I will say the final murder, or I guess spoilers. There's another murder in the fucking building in the show called Only Murders in the Building. I won't say who, but I was like, "Ah, I kind of wish they would have done something else. I kind of wish it had a little bit more of a twist to it.
No, I thought that one was really sad for me. It was very sad.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh God,
but
are you gonna keep doing this to me every season? You're just gonna make me feel bad again. Like, I like the first season where I didn't feel bad for anybody, you know.
I hope we're done with Paul Rudd.
I think
in
we're
the
done
show.
with Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
I think we're done.
it was fun. That show's always fun.
We're
I'm
definitely
happy.
not done with Meryl Streep, though. That's for sure.
No, she's the next murderer.
No.
Murderer.
But I'm glad you got me on that show. I really do like it. We took time out of our October to watch that, but we kind of considered it horror because there's murders, you know, so it's fine. There's murders. It's good. It's good to go. I tried getting Lindsay to watch Fresh a few days ago.
Fresh.
It's a 2021 horror movie with Sebastian Stan and Daisy Edgar Jones. She got about halfway through. She was having fun, but it just got a little too much for her. And
a little too fresh.
Yeah, it's about cannibals. It's just a little bit of cannibalism in it. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Are they like eating people? Are they eating people raw or are they cooking them?
No, he's a chef.
I feel like that's kind of cool then.
He's not a chef by occupation, but he's like, that's his hobby.
Okay.
Is cooking food really well. Yeah. His occupation is he's a surgeon, so a plastic surgeon. So he knows how to carve off the chunks perfectly that's the whole point, is he has a dungeon of women that he keeps alive for as long as possible. By just removing incremental pieces at a time.
Have you watched
feeding nice food? It's
have
really
you watched
disturbing.
The Substance?
I have not yet. I am very excited to see that movie.
Okay, me too. It came on my radar. I like Demi Moore.
I want to watch The Substance and Smile 2 so hard. I really want to see.
Oh, you haven't seen Smile 2?
No, I have not. Yeah.
Interesting.
Have you seen that?
No, I thought you would have gone to go see it.
Nah, no. I ended up seeing Venom 3 instead.
We have Craven still, dude. That movie's coming out.
Oh, so you know the funniest thing about Craven, Dr. Jones, Ian and I are sitting getting ready to watch Venom, The Last Dance.
Uh-huh.
And the last trailer they play before the movie starts is Craven, right?
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we both kind of like eye roll for a second. And then we say to ourselves, the irony of us eye rolling at this trailer as we sit here getting ready to watch Venom 3. You know what? We should probably reframe our minds right now and just accept that this is
an R-rated Craven movie.
Yeah. So we sat there for the rest of the trailer just saying, you know what? He looks like Craven. Like, so I don't know.
Quicksilver, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. But like, I'm trying to get in a place where I can be okay with something about that movie, because that train is going whether or not we want to ride it. And I mean,
Craven's typically a Sinister Six guy, right?
Another way of saying that is he's typically a Spider-Man villain.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, we're getting to a point. Craven, Madam Web.
Craven is one of the original Sinister
Venom.
Six. Yes.
Morbius. Vulture's in there somewhere. We only need one more to get a bootleg ass Sinister Six movie.
The original Sinister Six is Sandman, Mysterio, Craven, Doc Ock, Electro, and Vulture.
Oh,
Vulture.
That's a good lineup. I feel like people fuck it up and always throw like Chameleon in there and shit.
I mean,
Scorpion.
the
like,
cartoon definitely rearranged things and stuff like that. Yeah, but
there
that's
was
the
a.
original 6.
I guess the rumor right now going on is their next Venom movie is going to be an Agent Venom movie, and whatever that means for Tom Hardy. But it would be kind of cool if they
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean Tom
doesn't
Hardy.
well it
Is
doesn't
what
mean
it
Tom
means.
Hardy, but you could do Flash. Well, Agent Venom's Flash Thompson.
Correct.
Who was Flash Thompson in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
Joe Manganiello.
I don't.
I've already seen people freak out about the possibility of
I'd be down.
Joe Mange coming back for
I'd be down. It's his Deathstroke movie, but he's just in all black. That's all it is.
Sure. And then maybe we'll get to the part where Agent Venom joins the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Fuck it. What's the over under? Agent Venom meets the Guardians, or Agent Venom meets Spider-Man first?
Guardians first, for sure. These guys, no, they're not like, I laugh my ass off every time I catch a clip of a podcast saying like, I think it's gonna happen now, guys. It's not gonna happen. It's just not. No. I know I said that
He's
last
different.
week.
It's not Flash Thompson when he goes to space, right?
I believe it is Flash Thompson that goes to space. Yeah.
Because that's how the whole Null shit happens. Is he's with the Guardians and no?
No, the Null shit actually. Null first appears in a Thor comic book, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little separate, but Venom gets to learn about its origins while it's out in space. But yeah, it's weird. It's fun. It's comics, and we love comics, but they get pretty wacky. So you just accept.
Comics be wacky. We don't have news, or I don't have news for you, unless you want me to hit the button.
The only news I got is that churches are built facing east.
Some churches are built.
I learned recently that on some stream, I was trying to find like the hard data for it, but I learned that the Penguin has actually been the top streaming show, top thing streamed, not just show, like movies and stuff like that, for like the past 5 weeks across supposedly across all streaming apps. That's pretty crazy.
That's until Moana 2 comes out on streaming.
Oh yeah, that's going straight to streaming, isn't it?
No, I went to theaters, but
oh, okay, gotcha. Well, that's cool. I think that's awesome that they
it's a good show, and I'm happy it's being rewarded by people actually watching it.
I think it's a great show. So
I guess before we talk about the last week's episode, then from that point, the Batman 2 is next. That's the next thing in this overall story. Do you want Penguin season 2, or you want someone else? Another villains show? If so, who?
No, I've actually, we're going to talk about Penguin in a few minutes, but we're at episode 7, and like I'm pretty happy that we're at episode 7 because I'm getting a little like here's the thing, like, and we can continue this conversation after we run the bump thing, but it's getting a little long in the tooth for me, just a little bit. It's a little bit. So I don't know that I want more Penguin stories, but that does depend on how the movie plays out, right? I've heard that the movie, like Matt Reeves has promised to heavily feature the Penguin and Sofia Falcone, or Gigante. So let's see how that plays out before I fully weigh in. But right now, I'm hoping the Penguin story gets to a conclusion next week, so that we can tee up a Batman story that actually has Batman being more interested in what the Penguin's doing. He's kind of a joke in that movie, right? Like he's kind of like, he's a red herring for sure. So
yeah.
But why don't we just talk about the Penguin so we can just do this?
Let's do it. Rata Lata.
I think the episode's titled Top Hat, actually.
Top Hat. You know that like marketing website's live again.
It is again?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
There's like little teases for it.
El Rata Alada.
El Rata Alada.
Yeah. So Penguin, Top Hat.
I was kind of bummed no Top Hat for right off the bat.
But there was though. It was in there. That's the name of the Fred Astaire movie that they're watching. It's Top Hat.
I need a top hat on my penguin, please.
We got a lot of top hats. I think the point of Top Hat was that's their nod to the character, right? They're giving us the pieces of him the ways they can. I'm not saying you won't get a top hat on him, but I think
I need a monocle or I need a top hat or an umbrella.
You need so many.
One of the three.
Well, I thought the episode, like, I mean, you're getting ahead of it for sure, but I thought the cool thing about it is, like, I just want to point out this was the penultimate episode of the season, and rightfully so. It was his flashback this time around, right? Because we got Sophia's in the middle of the season, and it was an excellent episode, and it was like definitely getting a lot of people on board with. I want to know all about Sophia. F this penguin guy, but let's be honest. The show is called The Penguin, and so rightfully so, we finally got backstory with him that I thought was really beautiful and dark too, and that kid played a really good Oz cop. I believe that kid was the same character that Colin Farrell's playing, but without the prosthetics. You know what I mean? Like I definitely believe they were the same person. And it was fun to see that, you know, he was this disabled kid that really was a mama's boy, loved any chance he could get at getting his mom's attention, and he had to compete with two brothers, right? I think one was older and one was younger. Yeah. So he's the middle kid, right? Which everybody knows middle child syndrome's a thing. And so yeah, he just kind of he got slighted in a way where he perceived they were out playing a game in the sewers. He perceived something they did to be intentionally hurtful to him, which I don't think was the case, but we do know that Oz is
brotherly love.
Oz is a little rash, right? He gets a little. We saw it with Alberto, right? When Alberto made a joke, Oz could have taken it more diplomatically than he did, but instead he shot the man dead. And then ever since then, the entire show has been him dealing with the repercussions of his choices. This is another one, but this one was a choice that he constantly made for the entire night, right? Which his brothers went down a ladder that he couldn't go down. He took that to mean, oh, they're being mean because they know I can't do this. Screw them. I'm going to lock them in here on a rainy night. And he went back home and told his mom that they went to go see Beetlejuice. And he laid there happily watching his favorite movie, Top Hat, all night long as the rain came down. And his brothers died. And that was dark. And it's also the same exact sewer that he has now come back to reclaim as his secret base of operations for the shrooms, you know, for the mushrooms.
Full circle.
Yeah, it's full circle, but it's gross. So it's his villain moment was a long time ago, right? Like,
well, that's for me. I think this episode what has been missing from the show. Oz up until this point, he's a bad guy, but you feel for him. You get why he's doing certain things. You see his motivations. You see the spinning plates, and you root for him, right? Like you're kind of like, oh man, I kind of want this guy to weasel out because he's so good at it. But this episode with him choosing to kill his brothers at such a young age, you give him that sinister angle that I think a supervillain needs to have, and you ascend him above by doing that, you know. So you I don't want to say you take him seriously now, but like you really hammering home like he is not a great guy. Like this guy's he is a villain. He's supposed to be a villain. You're not supposed to root for him. He's
Yeah,
things. He's a very
yeah. It's not a normal thing to do, right? What he did,
yeah.
and the fact that he had so many opportunities that night that he could have just come clean and said, you know what, Ma, I
And
actually
he
locked her
hasn't
up in
come
there.
clean to this day.
And he's still never come clean about it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he could have come clean before they even died. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like we got to it cut back to them over and over again as they're slowly dying. You know, like as the room where they're locked in is slowly filling up with water, and they're screaming for help and stuff, and nobody's around to hear it. And it's just really sad to know. Like it reminded me of Moon Knight, but in Moon Knight it was like an accident, right? Like it's like, but that's the difference, right? One's a hero moment and one's a villain moment. And so, yeah, man, he drowned his brothers to death so that he could hog up Mom all to himself. And then they spent, then she started putting all of her love into him, and putting all of her expectations that she had for the other brothers into him too. And he made a promise to her to never, like, to give her everything she ever wanted. And so that, while that motivation is really pure and sweet, it comes from a dark
Oh yeah,
place.
it's rooted in something super terrible.
Yeah, it's rooted in evil. It's rooted in evil. And so that's a cool, complex villain for sure. And that's what makes this episode so awesome. So we didn't get a lot of Sophia in this episode. We got less of her. We still got Sophia. We got to see Sal try to get his revenge.
Got to see what happened to Vic.
What do you mean we got to see what happened to
Well,
Vic?
they beat the shit out of Vic.
Oh, you mean he's still alive? Yeah, at the end of the at the start of the episode. Yes, because I thought the last thing we saw was Sophia at the door of
correct, but like he didn't die in that moment.
Oh yeah, I didn't think he was gonna die like off screen or anything like that. I think if he's gonna die, it's gonna be next week for sure. But we got to see Sophia and Sal finally catch Oz, on a slip up. They finally caught him, because they found out the location of where he was keeping the mom. And Sal got to finally have his confrontation that he wanted. And it was really funny. I kind of loved the way it played out, where the only reason Oz survived that entire thing is because Sal's emotion was just too much for him, and he had a freaking heart attack and died.
I love that so much, because you see on the penguin's face when you realize what's happening, he's mad, like disappointed.
He's mad. He's mad.
He knows he didn't kill him,
but he also starts claiming he did.
Yeah.
He's like, I got you. I did this. And it's kind of reminiscent of in the Batman, when he thinks that he caused the Batmobile to like crash into like some trucks or something like that. And he's like, I got you. I got him. And he gets all celebratory right before the Batmobile just totally blasts his ass and he goes tumbling down. But yeah, he's quick to decide everything, right? He's quick to decide his victories. He's quick to decide if he's got to kill somebody. It's just his nature. But it was really cute and kind of real, I guess, like in a real way, to see this old man like have his revenge stolen from him by his raging heart. Like it's a cool way for him to go out. I'm kind of happy he went out, because I didn't love Clancy Brown as Sal, so I was hoping that character wouldn't make it to the end of the show.
I mean, it's a choice, right? So now the Maronis and the Falcones are like the two Batman families.
Well, they're the two year one Batman families. Yeah. The whole point is like those characters are gone, like, or they're not gone, but they're far less important to the Batman stories by the time, like, you read Detective Comics, blah blah, blah, like 34 or whatever. Yeah, it's the Frank Miller year one stuff is the Falcones and the Maronis and stuff. So Yeah, so they have to go away at some point. Like they can't be like the focal points. We need to pave way for some Mr. Freezes and some Jokers and some,
There is a Joker there.
By the way, we got a magpie a few weeks ago, and I never even mentioned anything about that. That cracked me up.
She's a big villain, right?
She's a villain.
She's a villain.
She's a villain that I've never seen depicted in TV or movie. I could be wrong. She might have showed up in one of the bad shows like Gotham or Gotham Knights or something like that. It's possible she's been in one of those, but it was cool to see a reference to a character, one of the smaller, lesser known Batman villains. But yeah, no, we've got a lot. I was joking about Mr. Freeze. We're not going to see him in
Do it, cowards.
I don't think. I think especially that's kind of the reason why we're getting two different cinematic Batmans now, right? Is because the implication is the Batman that deals with all the sci-fi shit is going to be the other one, right?
Yeah.
Like they've already established Clayface in the trailers for the Creature Commandos, and Clayface.
On that note, I say here, I'm gonna be pissed if and when we get a Clayface in those movies. He needs to look like that. He needs to do stuff that he's doing in the show if they're going to be the same show or same universe.
Right. Well, I think that's the implication, right?
It's a big promise to make.
Yeah. But there is another promise that I think has not been made in this show. And I think honestly, like just as a reminder, this show ends with Sophia planting a bomb in the van that's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a trade-off to give mom.
Yeah, it's a rule set. It's his mom. Yeah,
right. And she blows up an entire city block of Gotham City.
Yeah.
Where is Batman? This is getting goddamn ridiculous at this point.
I mean, we got the police commissioner, right? Or where's Gordon? We got the police chief.
You can't say that. I'm the one who said that last week. You can't.
I'll take a Gordon.
For reals though, like they're blowing up city blocks, dude. Like I just like I've reached that point where it's like you need to end this show quick because this is escalated like intensely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's out of control.
It makes him a shittier Batman.
It makes him a shittier Batman. Yeah. That's exactly what my wife and I were saying when we were watching that episode. It's like, this is doing harm to Batman as a character right now. And that's fine if they want to address it in the movie. It's cool. But I'm just saying we need this story to wrap up quick because it's getting to be too long. Too much time has gone on without Batman. Right. I'm glad you agree. I think you agree with this, right? Like
I do. I mean, obviously the Hollywoodness of why a Batman is not in the show is a totally reasonable explanation. But it's not a good story explanation.
It's really that Warner Brothers has some weird rule that they don't want to put Batman in TV. That's their rule because they know how much money.
Also, right, this was a Gotham PD show.
Like, who interacts with Gotham PD a lot? Batman.
No, but I mean, I'll settle for Gordon.
Yeah. No, I'll take a Gordon, but it doesn't address the elephant in the room, which is a lot of people, an entire family, a crime family has been murdered. Like so many people murdered on the streets in brutal combat.
I'm not gonna kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Like let's rewind back to like what was it, episode 3, where Oz gets stuck in this really awkward rock and a hard place situation because he's running double agent as like for the Maronis and the Falcones, and so he does a heist for both of them at the same time, and he ends up just having to massive gunfire in the streets of Gotham City, right? Like where is
Batman's not allowed to come out during the day.
They don't even care about the possibility of Batman right in the show, And I think that's what's making me feel weird about that. It's like,
Yeah, I think
how
that's
effective?
that's more of it to me, honestly. Because again, like the why of Batman not being there, I get it. I get the show, the way Hollywood functions, having the Batman in a not Batman show. It's weird, but you got to acknowledge it, right?
Mhm.
Like so I'll take it back to the Arkham Asylum games, right? Some of the best bits are where you're playing as Batman and you're creeping up in the rafters and you hear the goons talking. Where's the bat? Like I just need one of the penguin people,
Yeah.
henchmen, to say, "Hey, go patrol this area and watch out for the bat." That's all you gotta say. Just let me know that you're aware
Yeah.
of this of this psychopath in the dark, and that you're scared of him. That's what Batman's job is. It's not to. It's not necessarily to fight crime, but he's a message. He's a symbol. He's fear. Like he is. You need to feel his presence, and it sucks because they've established that fear exists in that universe. That's the whole premise. Like the first 5 minutes of that movie is how everyone's afraid of this crazy ass dude.
Yeah.
So it's odd that they don't revisit that theme.
Have you seen Batman Assault on Arkham?
I've seen bits. It's the in Arkham universe Suicide Squad movie.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's
It makes it weird on why Deadshot's not or black in the game. In the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
I have that game, but I barely played any of it. But yeah, well, I mean, I get the weird feeling that it's an alternate universe when I check that game out every now and then. But I know canonically it's supposed to. It's still Kevin Conroy.
There is a line in there about why the Deadshot's different.
Oh, that's funny. But my point I was trying to make is like it's this awesome movie that it's before they were comfortable just calling movies Suicide Squad because they didn't know that they could lean on that brand so heavily. So they were making movies that were titled Batman Assault on Arkham, but Batman's actually not the central character of the story. It's a whole story about how the Suicide Squad need to go in and steal a bomb that was confiscated and is detained down in Arkham Asylum, right? So they're going to go there because nobody knows that there's this Joker bomb down there and they're going to sneak in. And so the whole thing they do when they get their mission is they're trying to figure out how they're going to go and get to Arkham Asylum. And their first decision is, let's take the sewers. I don't want to mess with the bat. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just how like ingrained it is in God. If you don't go to Gotham City to try and do evil shit without figuring out what's your bat plan, you know what I mean? And I just feel like even if one of these guys in this, one of these henchmen, somebody in this show just said something about like, hey, we should probably go left on this street because Batman's always hanging over there. You know?
This is Batman territory.
Exactly. That's it. I'm not saying I need Batman to be in the story. I just want these people I want these people to make me feel like this is the same Gotham that we saw in that movie. Because it was feeling like that.
Batman.
What's that?
You're not allowed to swear around Batman.
Hey, sure, whatever. But like, you know what I mean? Like I like when the show started, I did feel like it was connected. And the longer we've been going, the less I feel that way.
Like, had this show come out before the Batman movie, that is tied to, I think it'd be fine. But the way you position the story within the bigger story, like it's weird. Like it's nothing short of weird on why they're not scared or aware or reference or even like, you know, remember what happened, you know, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, at this point, I think some time has passed, right? Like they did a fast forward last week, right? Or was it this week?
A couple months. It's been a couple months, yeah.
It's been at least a few weeks, right? It's been at least a few weeks, yeah. But they got that whole mushroom operation up and running and everything, yeah. So it's a weird continuity thing going on with the show. That said, let's back up the nerd train for a second and just say, like, look, the show itself is freaking awesome. Like, and that's the thing to remember. Like, I am entertained every week that I tune in to watch this show. Same as I was for Agatha. The difference is, or I mean, the similarity is like, remember when Agatha started, I was like, I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like it exists in that same universe, right? And but Agatha gave me treats like as the show progressed to where by the end of it, I was like, this totally feels like it's in that same universe, right? Like even the way she was made to look like a ghost that looked like an astral projection from the Doctor Strange movies and stuff, you know, or Avengers Endgame and stuff. Like they got there. And I think I'm trying to give the Penguin the benefit of the doubt that by the end of this episode of next week, I'm going to feel like, all right, we teed it up. We teed up the next Batman movie. Here we go. You know, so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's getting to that point where it's like, come on, guys.
That would be like, we got, again, we look at these shows and how they end, right? And what they set up. Does this need to tee off the next Batman movie, or are you happy with it ending with Oz's story, or putting a bow on whatever the story?
Well, I don't think Oz's story ends. I think this chapter of Oz's story ends. So I think this show should end with one door closing and another door opening, right? And so I think we need to see him be closer to the Penguin that we kind of expect him to be. Maybe not Tom Patton monocle, but you know, you would be happy if you did get that. But I'm saying it just needs to progress his character more towards being that Batman villain, right? Like, I mean, we got some nods to umbrellas, like the mom, while she's waiting for the kids to come home, she's like, I should have made them take their umbrellas, you know? And so like, I'm like, does the mom have an obsession with giving Oz umbrellas after this tragic death? You know,
umbrella
like,
gun.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I mean? So I like the little nods to top hats and umbrellas and stuff like that, but like I would like to see this character get closer to something that resembles a penguin. You know what I mean? Because like I'm gonna be honest, the Riddler. That was weird.
I like Incel Riddler.
He was weird. I like Catwoman. That was a good Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz was an excellent Catwoman. She gave me all the Catwoman vibes I needed. You know what I mean? So I just want my villains. I already know I'm not going to get all the villains. I'm going to get the grounded ones, right? So at least give me versions of the grounded ones that like check my boxes. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you always like checking boxes for certain things. Like, I'm glad you like Incel Riddler. He was weird for me.
But you really don't think Vic's faking it?
I think for story purposes, I think that's a door closing for Oz. Do you know what I mean? Like,
could be Victor's Oz. No. Victor Fries.
Victor Freeze, you mean?
Freeze.
If Vic is either one of those, no thanks. That's no. I don't want him to be Victor Zsasz. That's gross. That's no. That's disgusting. I don't know. I'm not gonna be mad if he lives. Don't get me wrong. I just kind of feel like his purpose in this show is to die. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his death is gonna cement Oz's villainy.
Especially if Oz is the reason that it happens.
Yeah.
So I don't think Sophia is going to intentionally kill Vic. I think if Vic dies, it's going to be either sacrificing himself to save Oz, or it's going to be Oz is willing to sacrifice Vic for his end means here, you know, the ends, you know, that he wants to justify. So yeah, I'm not trying to spoil it or anything like that. I'm just trying to like, I'm looking at it from a story perspective, and I feel like Vic is the evil equivalent of an Agent Coulson. Like does that make sense? Yeah. So because Sophia's too good now. You can't. No. We cannot
I
kill
think you
Sophia.
can. I think you can.
We're not killing Sophia. She is too good. Too good.
Well,
Also, wouldn't it be cool for Sophia to meet Catwoman?
would be cool. It'd be a little weird. They both hate their dad.
They both have the same dad though, so like that's like I would like to see if they could like have a scene where they're just like recognizing how many similarities they have and all the trauma they have and stuff. I don't need that. I'm just saying, like, there's fun to be had. Like you want to see all the toys play with each other. So that's why you don't want them to die. And honestly, I don't like seeing Batman villains die too. I think that's kind of like
That's part
the
of the
most
fun.
that's the most annoying part of most Batman movies. So in that respect, I at least appreciate that Incel Riddler lived. You know what I mean? Because maybe he could learn a little bit from the Joker and
He's buddies with the Joker now.
yeah,
They're gonna have
have a
little
little bit more
breakout.
more little flash in that costume, or pizzazz. Like just get a little bit more theatrical with it and a little less like TikToker with it. I don't know. It was just weird. So yeah.
Well, I'm
But
excited. I think we'll put a bow on this talk.
what do you want?
Episode.
What do you want to see? What I have before you end this, I want to know, what do you want to see from the end of this show, and then just curiously, besides Penguin and Sophia, which Batman villains do you want to see in the next movie?
I want to see the Penguin become the Penguin, if that makes sense. Whether it's symbolically by him putting on the proper attire, and not, it doesn't have to be goofy. Like he grabs an umbrella, right? Camera pans up, shows him with the umbrella. Happy with that. Or if he's like, you know what, like he finally embraces, because like the Penguin's like, for someone with a disability, calling someone the Penguin is like super fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. But
Yeah.
if he at the end of the episode next week or this week, he's like, I'm not Oz, I'm the Penguin. Like he owns it. He fully owns that nickname or that title. I'd be fine with that too. But who would I want to show up? Gosh, I mean, for me, the fun with Batman is crazy villains, and sadly enough, some of the crazy villains all have powers. So I really don't know. I think you maybe go. You get kind of more grounded with it, like with Hugo Strange, or more people from that Arkham Well. Um, maybe. Do you bring a Harley Quinn into this? Is that something that you do? I don't know. I'm
By
less
the
excited on who else could show up.
You're less excited on who else could show up?
Yeah.
Interesting. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, like in the flashback, when you learn that Oz's mom is doing bookkeeping for the
The guy.
the gangsters at the time. Yeah, like,
Well, it was the guy
and
Oz was
you
worshipped at
meet,
the beginning.
yeah, but you meet Rex Calabrese
Yeah.
in there, and interestingly enough, in like the comics, I think pre Jeff Loeb writing the Long Halloween and all the stories that came after it, I think Rex Calabrese was the canonical father of Selena Kyle. But obviously, she's way too young to be that guy's daughter in this universe. So it was just their little nod at throwing in a character that was the gangster in Gotham City before Batman came around. Like way before Batman. So that was a small time criminal that was added to the universe. So like they're finding ways to fill in, and so like I really like that when they throw in Rex Calabrese or Magpie and stuff. They're finding ways to just like inject things in there. I honestly haven't bothered to look up what the deal is with Sophia's doctor that is also her F buddy. But
Theo?
yeah, Theo. I don't know what to think of this guy. Like, I feel like there has to be an end game for why this character exists in this
He can be
story.
Hugo Strange. Well,
Yeah, I guess he could be, but
he has a name. I can't remember his name
oh
in the
yeah,
show.
his Theo's his real name, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would love to see them do Batman story that doesn't revolve around the Joker, but at the same time, I kind of do want to see
I mean, they put that
Harry.
chip on the table, so now you
Yeah.
gotta pay. They put the chip on the table with the very well-known actor.
Well, I really like the deleted scene that you just get to see.
Mhm.
He had a whole purpose in that movie. That's a cool scene that he had. But I don't know. I feel like we need like there's a way we could do Firefly since the Batgirl movie we'll never get to do.
Bring Brendan Fraser back.
Yeah. There's a way we can do the Mad Hatter. There's a way we can
Calendar
do
Man. Probably be.
Calendar Man is pretty cool, but
Who's the guy with the pig face?
Mr. Pig.
Mr. Pig.
Yeah.
Or the Puppet Master. He'd be cool.
Puppet Master is Fantastic Four.
What's the puppet guy then?
You mean Scarface?
Scarface.
Yeah.
The gangster puppet.
Yeah. Dummy, Scarface and Dummy. I think that's his. Yeah. No, they're cool. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
You can do like a Poison Ivy, which is like a crazy botanist.
Well, yeah, there was. I mean, the Poison Ivy that was originally introduced in the Batman animated series was a very grounded one, and then like as the show kept going, they're like, we can make her get crazy. You know, like we'll go nuts with it. She's gonna make giant zombie plant monsters and stuff like that. But in the original first story that she was introduced in, that she really just was an angry environmentalist that poisoned Harvey Dent because he was supporting businesses that were destroying the marsh, the Gotham, the swamplands and stuff like that. And that was a really cool take on it. You know what I mean? It didn't have to be fancy or crazy. She developed a special type of lipstick. She engineered a lipstick that could carry a paralytic poison or something like that. And she kissed him, and that was it, you know, and that was cool. Like it doesn't have to be, you know, over the top.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of sucks that Nolan verse jacked a lot of the grounded villains.
You mean use them? Like
use them?
Yeah.
It would be neat to see like a proper Bane, I will say. Because
he's not going to be in the Batman though.
There's the green power juice in that universe. But I think if you make what's the show you like, the Umbrella Academy, the gorilla guy?
Okay.
I think if you get that big with them, where he's the big dude, but it looks a little funky, but it's not like abnormal.
I don't think that works. I don't think that works in the Matt Reeves Matt Reeves world. I don't think it works there. But I'm open to seeing whatever they want to do. It would be great if we could introduce elements of magic and science fiction and stuff.
Not in this universe. Like you want like Azrael and stuff.
I want everything. I just love watching Batman beat everyone. All right, that's the best thing. Like I like watching Batman beat Darkseid. I like watching Batman beat the Riddler. It's all the same to me. Just like everybody thinks they're smarter than him, and they're not, and that's the fun part about it. But you know what's not fun is like when you think back on your Batman readings and you're like, remember that time that you were reading a Batman comic and you're like, what? Lex Luthor's president of the United States? That's insane. Oh man.
I didn't to wrap the show on that point. Next year we get Captain America, Brave New World. I think we get The Boys season 5. We get Daredevil Born Again. All of which are shows about corrupt leaders and the power that they exert on society.
Yeah.
And it sucks to know that we are living in a worse. We'll be living in a worse universe than what those movies portray.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if superheroes were real? Oh well. That's why we sit around talking about it every week, because that's our escapism. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in to listen to us talk about that. Hopefully we didn't get too downer on you. We like to escape into another world and talk about these fun stories. And I look forward to Penguin next week. I'm so excited to see how this ends.
Yeah, Penguin next week, and I think following that we're going to be doing some Punisher. We're going back to the well. So stay tuned, everybody, for
that'll get tons of views.
Dan Excelsior. And with that, true believers, no.